My name is Christopher Wallace. I was 16 going on 17. I came out a few months before I turned 17.
I'm Nikki McClear, and I was 12, almost 13 when I came out.
Christopher Keene would have been 19, 20-ish.
I remember liking girls in elementary school. I was little. I just knew I like that. I was confused, I guess, but I think I just kind of rolled with it.
Girls were always really hard, for me to wrap my head around. I remember being a kid being like, I know objectively that girl is pretty, obviously, but do I think she's pretty? Do you know what I mean? And I just thought, maybe I just haven't grown into those feelings yet. But then there was this moment when I was in 4th grade that I saw this boy, and I was like, I think he's cute. But I don't know. I guess when you're a kid, you can easily just be like, that was a fluke. It wasn't.
In 5th grade, I was in HEB Honor Choir, and it was 5th and 6th graders of all of the 17 elementary schools in Hershey's Bedford School District. And so there was this boy in 6th grade that was also in honor choir with me. And when we were changing into our uniforms one time, I thought that he was really cute. And that's the earliest memory I have of I don't know if it was a physical attraction yet because it was pre-hormonal, but it was oh my God, I'm infatuated, this boy's so freaking cute, and I told people about it. I came out to my dad in May of 2012, and he was gonna come to Memphis to visit me where I was living at the time. And I called him and I was like, I just wanted to let you know that I'm gay. You've probably already known it for a long time, and I totally understand if you don't want to come out here and visit me, but that's part of my life, and there's this guy that I'm kind of seeing, and you may meet him or you may not meet him. And my dad just asked that he didn't meet him, but he still wanted to come to Memphis and see me.
It was a week before my 13th birthday, and I was kind of forced out. It's my own fault. I had written a suicide note, and the last thing I had wrote was that I'm gay on it, and it got found. I wasn't going to do anything until my birthday, so it got found. So on top of everything else, I was coming out as well.
And I wrote these letters. And I wrote letters to my mom and my dad, to my brothers, and then to my sister. I left them and then snuck out of the house really early because I had to be at school super early that day before they woke up. My dad called me, and this is the worst. So I answered the phone, and I'm just like, it's just a normal phone call. And my dad just answers, and he's like, Bud. And I start sobbing. I'm sobbing in the parking lot. And I'm like, what? And he was like, I needed to hear your voice. I needed to make sure you were okay. Because that's when I realized that these letters that I left really looked like suicide notes. And he was like, I didn't know what this letter was. I was terrified. I needed to hear your voice. I remember the day after I came out when I went to school, I was walking and I physically felt lighter. That's when I realized that I didn't have to stress about what I wanted to wear anymore. And I didn't, I could finally, I remember when I came out, I immediately, a month later, got my nose pierced and decided I was growing out my hair. Because I was like, what am I afraid of now?
Positives were it was I had such a better view of the world. I became a happier person. That inner turmoil stopped. It was really exciting just to live my true, authentic self. And the negatives were, a strained relationship with my parents and some of my aunts and uncles and some cousins. And but the one great thing in all of that is my grandparents were always there for me.
I had issues with friends because, I kind of have switched what I really label myself as. I thought I was bi, I thought I was just a lesbian. I think people were kind of exhausted trying to figure out what I am. And I just stopped labeling myself and stopped caring what people thought. So it's been really easy. My family's been really good with it. With regards to coming out, my parents didn't care at all. and my depression issues weren't from me being gay. And my parents told me from day one, like literally I remember being young, like, if you like girls, it's fine. And when I came out, first of all, my parents were just worried about my mental health. And then when that all kind of settled down and I was in therapy, my dad was just kind of like, hey, Fergie's hot, right? Like, he was just excited to have someone in the house that he could talk about girls with. So that's pretty much, I had a pretty good experience with my parents being okay with me being gay.
After I came out, the inner turmoil went away, and then the fear started to set in of being ostracized from family and friends and the community that I grew up in, and the fear of maybe I was never going to find anybody, or maybe my family would never accept anybody that I did find, and it was just like a long term of fearfulness. It also turned into promiscuity and just sleeping with way too many people way too quick. And I'm thankful I didn't catch anything. Like, my grandfather said something to me in high school to the effect of, I don't really care who you're fucking, you just need to go to college and get a degree, and then you can tell me after. So, I mean, that was not a reaction I expected from a 60-something-year-old man.
I felt like I figured myself out when I came out as gay instead of bi. That everything kind of made sense, and I felt like I had a community, which was really nice. So, like, really feel like I fit in somewhere. But my partner's a trans man, so that I can't really call myself a lesbian, you know. So I kind of struggle with that. Like, I feel like I need a community. Like, I want it to be exact, like, LGBT. I want it to be one of those letters. So I felt like I had some sort of community, and I don't really have that anymore. So I still kind of struggle with that a little.
Outside of the community, I think, like, we never show any public display of affection whatsoever. Whether, I take that back, we did a couple times when we lived in New York for a little while. But when we've traveled around the country, or when we're in Texas, I would like to show public displays of affection. My husband wouldn't. That's not who he is. But whether we want to or we don't want to, we feel like we can't, because there are safety issues in the Dallas, Texas area still today.
And when I came out, to me that felt, okay, I am a middle-class white man. I have more privilege than a lot of people, and so now it is my duty as a person to fight homophobia as much as I can. Because also with my extended family, aunts, uncles, grandparents, I realized that it was kind of like, we don't mind that you're gay, but I don't love all the other gays in the world. So it's kind of like they gave me a hall pass. And it's like, it's okay that you're gay, but that doesn't mean I have to accept all the gays. And that wasn't a thing. I was like, no. Like, you're not gonna sit here and pick and choose, you know? This is who I am. These are the things that I deal with. These are the things that my community deals with. And to be against my community is to be against me. But on Facebook, I remember like when gay marriage was legalized federally, plenty of my aunts and stuff were like, I guess people can just marry dogs, marry their sisters. And I literally took my earrings off, put my hair in a bun, and I was like, let's fight. I was like, I'm down.
The way I live my life, I feel like I can have civil dialogue with other grown adults, men or women, who are willing to meet somebody halfway and just have a conversation and discuss things openly.
Coming out isn't for anybody else. And I think that you should only come out when you're ready to come out, and you should only do it for the right reasons. And those right reasons should be because you want to be who you are, and you want to be honest about it. I don't feel like you should have to come out. I don't feel like you should have to label yourself bi, gay, straight, whatever, because none of it matters. If you want to come out and you want everyone to know so you can share your love with the world, that's great. My only advice is to not put so much pressure on other people also in the LGBTQ community to try to put everyone in a box. And I know it's 2019 and there's like 12,000 labels for everything. So yeah, you can probably find a label that fits to you, but I don't feel like we should be putting so much pressure on everyone to identify exactly what they are, and they should just be about what's really important, which is love, and that was the whole point of all of it.
Just don't let anybody get you down, and it's becoming more and more public all over our world, and there are countless people you can talk to, and I'm one of them.
I think there's a common misconception about coming out. Coming out isn't saying I'm gay and hoping the world will accept me. Coming out is, I am gay and I don't care whether you accept me or not because I've accepted myself. So I think for someone who's questioning, someone who wants to come out, know that there will be people that you thought had your back or you thought were on your side who may not be, or may be on your side conditionally. And I think coming out is a matter of getting to a point in yourself where that's okay. Do everything at your own pace. This is not a race. It's not anyone else's business. It's not anyone else's struggle. It's a beautiful process. Like, I know that sounds really cheesy, but there's really nothing like living authentically. After years of living just a day-to-day, like lying constantly, keeping secrets constantly, feeling ashamed constantly, the process of letting go of that is otherworldly.